because I always tell myself like, I love my hood, I love the home, I love where I come from. But yet, what I was doing to the hood, what I was doing for the home with the homies, like it was more destructive than love, right?
Yeah.
So if I claim to love the homies, then I have to show that I love them. Like do stuff that's caring, like show community stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's to me now I can actually say I love my hood, I love my homies because I'm trying to provide, give back, and show show and prove that there's other ways to go about life. It's not.
I am a phoenix, and the ashes are red. Wings may be torn, still I can fly above.
Welcome to Out of the Ashes podcast. Today we're exploring a powerful story of transformation as we speak with someone who has experienced redemption, rebirth, and restoration. Can you tell the audience your name and how much time you served?
My name is Lon Chhay. The amount of time I served in total from the age of 14 up to 39, 22 years. On my last term here was 13 years.
Tell us about that experience, especially like in terms of personal growth or reflection.
Personal growth. Well, in the beginning of doing my contact with the carceral system, there was no like. There was really like no want or no need for change, right? It was just a place for me to go and just hang out with the homies, or see homies that I haven't seen for a while. And it was just like a party, like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from the streets. I get to go here, hang with the homies I ain't seen for a while, come home, right back at it. So it didn't take till this last term, because this last term I went in, I was still, I still had that mentality of, man, this is what I chose, this is it right here. And but on the last one, I did have a newborn daughter that was out on the streets. She was 6 months when I went in, and so throughout that whole term, I was sentenced to 19 years. Well, I actually took a deal. I pled guilty to a charge, a lesser charge, for 19 years versus the life sentence. So I took the deal for 19 years, and I figured, okay, even if that's a long amount of time, but at least I'll get to come home when I'm in my 40s or something like that, And I went and did my time like for like the first, I want to say 7 years.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Going in there, get assimilate to the politics and everything inside the prison, and it dawned on me like, man, I'm getting close to coming home. I got a few years left. Laws are changing. I have the potential to come home early. So I decided, it's time for me to find something to change. I had really sat back, reflect on my life, where I was at, where I want to be, and that's what caused me to make that transition into trying to do something better for myself, for my family, for the community.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you explain, because this is a question I get all the time, can you explain to people who have not been incarcerated, like what is the mind frame behind taking a plea deal or taking it straight to the box?
So this is when I was fighting my case, like I know what they had against me, right? I know what I did.
Yeah.
I know what they had against me. I have the documents, the paperwork in front of me. I know what's going on. I know what they have, what they don't, and I knew deep inside that if I was to take it to the box, go to trial with it, right, I'm gonna get a life sentence. There's no way. They have too much evidence and stuff like that. So my thing was, okay, where can I? Which time? How much time was I comfortable with doing?
Right.
Like, am I comfortable with doing 30 years, 40, 20? So, yeah, while I was fighting that case, I made peace with it. Like, okay, I'm going to go do some time. There's no way out of this.
Yeah.
Even if I go to trial, even if I had a team of attorneys, like, there's no way I'm out of this. So I know in my heart that if I go to trial, I'm going to get a life sentence.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way being around it. So here was when I spoke to my attorney and told him, look, man, try to get me out for my daughter's 15th birthday. Go in there and tell him, give me 16 years, I'll sign right now. We won't even have to go back and forth like this. Like, so he went and approached the district attorney with it. They said no, no, he's have an extensive record. Like we cut him deals all the time. Now he has to go do his time, because he doesn't learn.
Yeah.
So on the eve of a jury selection, I know the attorney came to me with he was a little bit upbeat that day, and I know what's going on, man. He said, look, man, I was able to cut you a deal. If you plead to the lesser charge for this, I got you a deal, and it starts with a 1. So when he said it starts with a 1, in my mind, I'm thinking 10 years, right? Okay, 10 years, I can do that. I can walk off 7, that's nothing. I rate me down for 2, like, I could do it. But he said it was 19. Of course, when he said that, I was happy, but I was acting like I wasn't. Like, nah, man, I don't want that, man. Go tell him, man, I'll do 16 right now. Like, go back with it. He went back, and then he came. Of course, he came back. Like, look, they're not budging. I'm telling you, I haven't suggested you take any deals. I'm gonna suggest you take this now.
Yeah.
Please just do it.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of. He didn't take no convincing. I was gonna sign it regardless. But I was just trying to get lesser time. But yeah. So then I signed it, and off I went. So that was pretty much the thinking around that versus going to trial or
Yeah.
deal. But some folks, like, they listen to the dudes inside, right? The older cast, they'll tell them, oh, they ain't got nothing on you, youngster, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they take it all the way to the box. So they would skip up like 2 years, 5 years, whatever, those deals, like, just skip that up because somebody that was lacing them up on what they have or what they don't have, right? Oh, if they offer you 2 years, I mean, they ain't got nothing on you. Take it to the box. You gonna get a dismissal. You don't want to be on probation. You want to be on parole. They end up going to trial, lose, and get just a long stretch, right? Which is unfortunate.
Tell the audience what you're doing now and what inspires you to keep moving forward.
So what I'm doing now, of course, on my last term, I thought long and hard what I wanted to do when I came home, and my thing was at the time was I wanted to come home and work with youth, make sure they don't fall into the same footsteps I did. But when I did come home, like, it didn't really work out like that. I ended up meeting the organization I work at now. I was introduced to it. I volunteered. After volunteering for some time, I was offered a part-time position. I took it. A few months down the line, they offered me a full-time position as a director of alternatives to incarceration. I took that, and then now here I sit as the executive director of the organization, and also I hold a seat on the city commissioners for gang prevention and intervention for District 6. And I pretty much just help the reentry population that are coming home. Not just the reentry population, but also those that are currently incarcerated right now. We just put together a pretty successful fundraiser to be able to send those that don't have support out here from family or friends. We were able to send them like holiday packages, just to lighten them up for the holidays. Because we all know how it felt for the folks that were involved with the fundraising planning. We know how it feels to be able to get some type of care, some type of love from the outside during the holidays, because that's a stressful time, depressing time, actually, inside. So we do that. Of course, work alongside the families that come that reach out to us saying they need support with whether it be trying to get their loved one home or raising funds for an attorney so they can file an appeal, stuff like that. Like, so that's what we do. Or that's what I do now here.
I love that. Let's go to the turning point. This is the redemption part of the questioning,
Right.
of the interview. Just to define redemption. Redemption is the act of acknowledging past mistakes and taking steps to transform one's life. Demonstrating personal growth and a commitment to positive change. It's about accepting responsibility for the past while reclaiming your own worth and dignity. When we talk about redemption, we're focusing on the turning point, the moment when you decide to change or take control of your life. This could involve seeking forgiveness or discovering a sense of purpose, like you talked about, or finding a path that aligns with the person you want to become. So my first question is was there a specific moment or experience that sparked your decision to pursue redemption?
Well, it was that moment where laws were changing. I remember laws were changing, and it really hit me like, okay, I'm about to come home. There's a possibility I'm going to come home early. And I really haven't did anything with myself besides run with the fellas in there and politic and stuff like that, which, I can't bring that skill out here and then try to apply for a job and they ask me, like, what kind of skills you have? Oh, yeah, I know how to politic with the homies in there, Like, I don't know where I'm going to get hired at. So I really thought about it. I'm coming home. I have a family. Like, what am I going to do? I have to make some changes. Like, what I was doing before wasn't cool. I felt like because I always tell myself like, I love my hood, I love the home, I love where I come from, but yet what I was doing to the hood, what I was doing for the home with the homies, like it was more destructive than love, right?
Yeah.
So if I claim to love the homies, then I have to show that I love them. Like do stuff that's caring, like show community stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's to me now I can actually say I love my hood, I love my homies because I'm not trying to provide, give back, and show and prove that there's other ways to go about life. It's not just what's right directly in front of us. School, education, and career versus a job. Try to explain. Stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I show my love now for my hood, my community.
I love that. I love the aspect of you realizing like what really loving your hood or loving your homies means. It's when you're doing things that you know will help, right? Long term, like permanent help,
Right.
rather than causing harm. I think it's the biggest thing that people always say when they're talking about reentry or redemption or
Right.
recidivism. Is like, does this cause harm?
Right.
Right. We talked about what redemption is in Out of the Ashes podcast. What does redemption mean in your own words?
Redemption to me is turning the wrongs that you've done in the past into right. Right. I know are certain circumstances or situations that you can never fix. Right.
Yeah.
But then just showing and proving that you do have some type of feeling and acknowledging that that was wrong what you did,
Yeah.
to me that's redemption, right? So like all the destruction, all the chaos, whatever it was that folks have caused in the past, like your mistakes or whatever, just proving, showing like you're not that, you feel bad about it, and this is what you're doing to give back now.
Yeah. I like that. Let's move to rebirth. Rebirth is the process of starting over. When we discuss rebirth, we're focusing on the process of rebuilding. What happened after you decided to change? This includes how you adjusted to life after incarceration, overcame challenges, and established a new foundation of yourself. So, what was the biggest challenge for you when re-entering society?
The biggest challenge is for me. It's just being around people again. No, let me back up a little bit. The biggest challenge coming home is responsibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because when you come home from doing such a long stretch, right? You come from no responsibility to overnight 100 responsibilities. So that was a huge thing for me. Now I have to worry about if we don't make this payment, we don't make, something's gonna get took. Lights go off. Somebody not gonna eat. We ain't gonna have a roof over here. Stuff like that. Like, oh, now I went from a number, inmate number such and such to a father. Like, hey, take your kid to school, pick your kid up from school, make sure she, stuff. That's a lot for someone that's did so long with no responsibility. Because in there, everything comes to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about nothing. Hey, if you don't have no money, you're not gonna starve. They got food for you. So out here, it's not like that. If you're not responsible, if things go bad.
How did you overcome that? Like, how did you adjust to that responsibility?
Well, I was already planning like on the inside, right? I prepped myself from the inside. So it starts from in there before you can come home. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna do what I do in here, and as soon as they say, hey, come on, you're scheduled for release, get out of here, and then okay, let me get it together, right? I mean, I don't know if people do that, but I would say like I don't know, I don't think that's gonna be right because now you don't know where to go. So it's like you were seeing while you're in there, and then as soon as you walk past that gate, you got blinders on. Now you don't know where you're going, what you're doing because you don't have a plan.
Yeah.
So yeah, my parole was already planned like probably a year or two before my parole, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even longer than that. I was already like daydreaming what I wanted to do, envisioning what I wanted to be, and mapping out goals and how I get there, short, mid, long, stuff like that. Just prepping myself before I parole. And when I did parole, I try to make like contacts and stuff while I'm inside. So when I do touchdown, it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Today I'm gonna go to the DMV, try to take care of this. After that, the next day I'm gonna contact this organization, see if they got some type of work for me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just lining them up what you want to do short term and then all that. So yep.
when you talk about actually the getting responsibility overnight, it makes me think about the importance of your support system
Oh yeah,
and the importance of them having patience.
absolutely.
In my area, I would say to have have grace for the process, like
Trust the
because
process.
we're still adjusting, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of times people will approach us in a way where they think we should know so much, right? And we do, but at the same time, we still have to get used to what it means to be in society, what it means to
Right.
have to make all these choices, what it means to have all these responsibilities. So like patience is very, very, very important. Like the reason I wanted to do this series specifically is so that people, not necessarily for people who have been incarcerated, but for people who are supporting those who are incarcerated.
Mm.
Like what can they learn from people talking about their experiences, talking about their fears and things of that matter.
Man, we need to get my wife and daughter in this because they don't seen all the ups and downs that I've been through since I've been home. Right,
Yeah.
they stood by my side even like throughout my whole term and out here, they seen the struggles and everything like that. But
Can you talk about the importance of the support system?
yeah, it is extremely important, right? Like I said, I spent like 22 years, inside total, and it was every time I came home, it was the same stuff. I would try for like a month or two every time. It wasn't like I was just completely, as soon as I step out, like I'm going right back to the streets. It wasn't like that. It was always, okay, I'm gonna try this time, because, I tell the lies, not the lies, but at the time I was honest about it when I told my mom and stuff. I started from when I was a kid, I tell my mom, yeah, mom, I'm done chilling with the homies. I'm done doing this. I'm done doing that. And I would try. It gets hard. There's no support there. I go right back because the support that I would get, which was in like real support, or at the time I thought it was support, like, the homies, they'll be right there for you when you ready to come back. They're right there. Take this here, go do this here.
Yeah.
They mean well by it. I'm not saying that with no ill intentions. Like I'm not sure. I'm sure they're not thinking like, yeah, let's get the homie in trouble again.
Yeah.
It's not that. Just we don't know how to support each other, right? Because we never had that support.
Yeah.
That real care, that community. We never
Yeah.
really had that. So to answer your question, support is extremely important. It's vital to folks' successes out here, that's coming home, especially if they did 10, 20, 30 years. Like, you need that support. I was fortunate enough to have in my family, I had a pretty solid foundation when I did come home, and so that kept me grounded and above water. Just my first few months, the first 2 weeks, really. I believe like the first 2 weeks is the most vitalest
Yeah.
time when folks
Yeah.
come home to feel that support, to feel that love, to feel that care. And if folks have support, I believe the recidivism rate would probably be down to the tens.
Yeah.
If everybody got support coming home, right? But nowadays though, there's a lot of support, reentry support out here.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like when I first started doing time, where I come home, there was nothing for me to turn to besides probation or parole. Like,
Yeah.
and they would tell you, do this, do that, do this, do that. Like, come on, man, I'm not about to listen to you.
Yeah.
You about to lock me up anyways. But so like, why am I listening to you? So yeah, but now though, there's a bunch of folks like myself, like yourself, like we're here to support our folks. Like, and when we do say we're here to support, we really mean it. We're sincere about it. Because I know the traumas that we've gone through. It's like when somebody do something for you that's too nice,
Yeah.
automatically you like, what's your
a
catch?
trigger. Yeah,
Like,
it's a trigger.
What do
Yeah.
you want from me?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
you so nice to me? Like, ain't nobody that nice in this world,
Yeah.
But believe it or not, that's how I thought too when I first came home, when I met this organization. Like, people
Yeah.
were just real friendly, real welcoming, and to me, that's a red flag. Like, hold on, what y'all want from me? But then I found out like there's people out here that truly, sincerely care
Yeah.
about us, want to see us succeed,
Yeah.
and it's real. Like, real love is out here. Like, real care, real
Yeah.
community is out here, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And so now when folks come home, like, all they gotta do is find us, or I'll go find you, and
Yeah.
I got you. You got them.
Bringing up community is huge, specifically for me, because that's kind of what I'm building, right, with Phoenix Mentality. I'm building that community because I understand the importance of a support system. But you brought up a good point that I was trying to explain to someone before, is people are going to find community regardless.
Right.
Either the community is going to support their growth or hinder their growth. So our goal is to provide community that is going to actually support their growth, like
Right.
healthy growth. to wherever they're trying to go. And when that community isn't there, of course, there's a void. So they're going to find something
Yeah,
because we're
absolutely.
not meant to walk this journey alone.
Right.
So either we find somebody that helps us or hinders us, right? That's the importance of community that we're trying to build. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it really brought home to what the mission is.
Right, right. For sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's funny. How did you maintain hope and motivation as you build your new life?
I just kept my eyes on on my long term goals.
Yeah,
Like setting goals is really important. I used to hear that a lot, though. As I was growing up, you gotta have goals. You gotta have goals. I mean, the hell are you talking about? But I didn't really fully understand it until I chose to really dig deep and make this change, make this transition. And that's when I understood the value of setting goals. It gives you something to aim for, because if you don't have a target to aim for, right, you don't know what you're shooting at. You're just
yeah,
shooting blindly into the air or into the forest.
yeah.
You need a target. So if it keeps you on track, this is what I'm shooting for. This is where I'm going. Boom. As soon as you get there, your short term, and now you got your midterm, your target. Shoot for that target. And it keeps on going. And yeah, so that's it right there.
Was there ever times where you lost that hope?
Oh, there was. So my first summer out, I tell the story a lot to folks. My first summer home, I paroled in a day after Christmas, 2021, and that first summer out, I set some goals while I was inside before I came home that were unrealistic, but to me at the time made a lot of sense, right? And some people think it's a joke when I tell them this. Like, one of my goals were I was going to be a millionaire within a year,
Yeah,
right? So just think about that, how unrealistic that is. There's people that's been out here for 20, 30 years that's still getting close to a million.
yeah,
But me spending all that time in prison, I'm just gonna do it in 1 year,
yeah,
because I mapped it out. Like, this is what I got going. So it was unrealistic. So here goes 6 months out. Summer comes and my bank account got $35 in it, and I'm like, man, how can I turn $35 into a million? That's impossible. Like, it's not gonna happen. So I started losing hope in being responsible. I'm a father now, I'm a husband, I got a job, I got taxes to pay. It's just a bunch of stuff just coming down on me, and it was heavy
yeah,
because I wasn't used to it, and things aren't panning out the way that I thought it would, right?
yeah,
And I went into like a little bit dark, just a little bit depression, and I, in hindsight, now that I look back at it, like, I understand what I was doing. I understood what I was doing back then. Like, I was trying to self-destruct, right, to give myself a reason to get back to what I'm comfortable with. So that's what I was doing. So I stopped coming in to work. I stopped returning emails. I stopped answering phone calls or text messages if it pertains to work. So I did that for about a week and a half, and my director and associate director, they were calling me, hitting me up like, "Hey, you okay? You okay?" I was just ignoring it. And here I was hanging out with the homies, and I get a text message like, "Hey, we've been trying to contact you. Are you okay?" And I thought to myself, at least I owe them that respect, to respond, to reply to them, because they gave me a chance when nobody else did. So I replied. I said, "Look, I'm going through some stuff right now. Like, I'm not trying to talk to nobody or whatever." So I thought that was it. When I did that, it was like, okay, then you're fired. But the response I got was a little bit different, and I was like, what? This wasn't what I was looking for, but okay. So I hopped on the phone call, and they told me, look, take care of what you got to take care of, like, do you take care of what you got to take care of. Don't worry about your job. It's going to be here. Don't worry about your bills, because you're still going to be still getting paid. Whenever you're ready, just come back, take care of it. Take care of yourself. Take a little bit of time, self-care, and you'll be all right. And keep on, when I was going into this phone call, I was ready to, like, just go up, man. F you guys, y'all don't need you. I was ready. That was in my mind, like, I'm ready for battle,
Yeah.
phone banging. So
phone banging.
yeah, phone banging on your, and then of course go back home and share the news, like, hey, they just fired me, for what? So I don't know. They tripping, So that was like, I already had this plan mapped out of my self destruction.
Yeah,
But the response, the care, the love, everything that was put into that phone call, what that they had with me, that's when I really felt it and I really understood people out here really do care. Now they're putting their career on the line
Right.
in order for me to get right, right? So that's a huge thing for me. If somebody does that for me, like does anything like that, I feel like I owe you, right? I owe you.
Yeah.
And so I at the end of that phone call, I just told, look, give me like 2-3 days. Let me get right, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
And they were like, take all the time you need. Like if you need to take a week, take a week. You need to take 2 weeks, take 2 weeks. You need a month, take a month. So me, I like to keep my word. So like after 3 days, I came right back, get back to it. And when I walked in, they were like, "Are you okay? You want to talk about anything? You know, we're here for you. You know, stuff like that." So right there, that care, that support, that's that community. You know, like
Yeah.
we don't care what you're doing. We're gonna sacrifice. We got to make sure you all right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a wonderful feeling. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like everybody could get that. This world will be so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because what people don't realize is when people do that for you, it refuels your worth in yourself.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Because it's like I can't be worthless because this person is going out of their way to make sure that I'm good, I'm cared for, I'm supported, I'm loved. So it helps you regain that hope back because you realize most of the time we're hopeless because we feel like we are out on this island.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we're out on this
Yeah.
island and it's sinking, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know how to swim type
Don't
thing.
know how to swim. Ain't nobody throwing a life
Right.
jacket. Can I get a rope then? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Nobody throwing a rope, nothing, you know?
But we find that hope when we have people who say, you know what,
Yeah.
we'll walk through this with you in
Yeah.
whatever way you need us to.
Yeah. Do it at your speed. You
Yeah.
know, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. Yeah, that goes back to the support, right? How important
Yeah.
support is. Now, just imagine if that conversation went the way that I thought it was going to go,
Right.
right? I'll probably either be back in prison or I'll be dead right now.
Yep.
But you know,
Interesting. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Let's go to restoration when we're talking about healing and giving back. When we talk about restoration, we're focusing on how you've healed and reconnected. And I always say healing is a continuous process. So we we focus on how you're healing and reconnected with yourself, loved ones, and the community. This includes like mending relationships, giving back, and finding peace with your past. How have you worked to rebuild trust and relationship with loved ones or others in your life?
so yeah, that right there. How I've been rebuilding is, I just because they heard it. My family's heard it so many times. Like, I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done.
Yeah.
So this time I really didn't tell them I was done. Like I just told them like my plans. Like this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm doing. And I followed through with it. And now that's the way for me to prove it to them. Like I owe this to you guys. I owe you that much. This is my
Yeah.
part, my redemption. And that's what I did. A lot of people, like I just like I mentioned to you before we got on this, like I just graduated San Diego State this week.
Go
And
Aztecs.
yeah, go Aztecs, yeah. So it was a lot of skepticism behind that when used to tell people about that, like what you gonna do when you come home? Oh, I'm about to go to SDSU. I'm gonna work on my bachelor's degree, and it was a lot of stuff like that.
Yep.
And like you can't go there. You have a felon. You're a felony. And I was like, well, bro, like watch me. That's the
Yeah.
one thing. Like the one thing you don't tell me is I can't do something because I'm a
Challenge.
yeah, I'm gonna do everything in my power to prove you wrong. So do not. So those are the two things. Don't tell me I can't do something, and you don't tell me something's mandatory. Those are two. That's my two biggest things. Like if you, even like when I was working, one of my supervisors at the time told me something was mandatory, right, about some emails or something like that to do
Yeah.
something with the emails. So when he said, "Yes, mandatory, you have to do this," right? So what I would do was I would intentionally not do it just to get on your nerves to see what you're gonna do. I'm gonna watch your reaction. So yeah, that's the thing.
That's not petty at all.
No, not at all. But
No.
those are just the two things. I don't know why I can't get over it, but those are the two things. Like when I hear it, like, oh, okay, watch.
Yeah.
So yep, that. But yeah, going back like graduation and all that stuff. So I just proved to my peoples, those that I want to make amends with. Like, look, I'm not that same person. Like I understood that I did wrong. I just understand that my mistakes don't define who I am today. I'm gonna show you who I am today versus who I was yesterday. So yeah.
I love that. If you could offer one piece of advice to someone currently incarcerated or recently released, what would it be?
Trust the process. Trust the process. I told a brother that came home after, I want to say like close to 30 years, maybe like 30 some years.
Yeah.
So I was helping him with his reentry, with his transition back into the community. And some of the stuff that he was going through, I seen it like, okay, this is what my family was seeing when I came home, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it was hard to even just to order a burger at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because I remember my second day home, my daughter wanted to go to Chick-fil-A, so my daughter and my niece, and so we went to Chick-fil-A. I get in there, I'm looking at the menu, I freeze up.
Yeah.
Like, wow, the options, like, so so I asked my daughter to, hey, can you order? And she's like, oh, I don't have the money. I give her the money, you know, and you know, I had to explain to her like it's hard for me to order, you know.
Yeah.
So I would see stuff like that in him. And that's what I used to always tell him, trust the process. Trust the
Right. process,
process, bro. Like you're gonna go through this. You just feel it, recognize it, understand it, and acknowledge it, what you're feeling. And trust the process, you know, and I don't know how many times I had to tell him that. Maybe about like 15, 16 times I told him that, like day in, you know, the next day I would drive him around town, take him to job interviews or try to find places that are hiring. And I would always continue telling him when he want to give up, you know, like, man, just trust the process, bro. It's going to work. Trust
Yeah.
it. And then, you know, the biggest thing I always tell folks coming home, like, just keep in mind when we were in prison, bro, we had a lot of patience. We wait for everything.
Everything.
Every single little thing, right? You got a 8 o'clock dental appointment, you ain't gonna be called till 11, right? We wasn't making no fuss then, talking about I'm gonna go back to the unit, I'm gonna go back to my cell. We wasn't doing none of that. We was waiting patiently,
Yeah.
right? So we use those skills out here, you know, that patience and trust the process. Now going back to speaking on the brother that I was just talking about, he finally trusted the process. He said, "All right, man, I'm gonna trust it. I'm gonna trust it." He went through the process, and now he's a success story out here after 30 years, maybe close to 30 years. You know, he's successful out here.
I feel like anyone who's done time has that Chick-fil-A story. For me, it was it McDonald's or Jack in the Box, whichever one had. I think it was Jack in the Box that had the soda machine.
Oh, with the buttons and
Yeah, with the 1,000 flavors and
I
like
still had that trouble.
I'm like, I just want a Coke. I just want a Coke. I
yeah.
remember literally another time having a breakdown in Target because I wanted to get a razor, and I was in the razor aisle. There's all these options, and I'm just like, I just want a razor. I don't know why they have so many. And I called my mom. She didn't answer. I was just like,
Oh yeah,
oh my God.
yeah. Start panicking.
Yeah.
Man.
And then you're like, oh, people are looking at me. They think
Yeah.
I'm strange. No. They're going to call the police on me. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, just all type of things just run through
Anxiety,
your head,
yeah.
anxiety. And, well, that's why I you know, when I came home, I didn't do nothing. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't do none of
Yeah.
that stuff, right? But then that anxiety I felt when I came home. You know, family is coming over, and
Yeah.
you know, like when too much commotion in prison, it's like, well,
Yeah.
what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to people just walking behind me that fast, and
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing? You know, like don't walk behind me like that, man. You know, I'm tripping. But yeah, so we were at like a barbecue or something, and like my anxiety was going wild, like. People just walking everywhere, smiling, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And somebody had a vape.
Yeah.
I said, "What is that, man? Does it have THC or anything in it?" He's like, "No, you know, it's just a regular nicotine vape." I said, "Let me hit it." I hit it, and it alleviated some of the anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, till now I still vape. 3 years on, you know, I'm still vaping, still anxiety.
Tell me, what message do you hope listeners take away from your journey?
That, especially this goes to the folks who you know or have the privilege of employing us. You know,
Yeah.
that's another huge barrier for us is employment, income. Give us a chance. Give us a chance. I promise you, we gonna work like you've never seen anybody work before. We gonna grind. We gonna do what it takes because now that you've given us an opportunity, you know, where others didn't, we gonna prove to you that you made the right decision.
Yeah.
Just give us that opportunity. You know, like myself, somebody gave me an opportunity, and man, I went full fledged with it. I hit the ground running. To this day, I always tell people like I've never had a chance to even let my freedom soak in 3 years out because like they gave me an opportunity and I don't want to waste it, and I want to prove like be that person that employees would see. Okay, here's a formerly incarcerated gentleman, came home, got a degree, he's working hard, he's moving up the ladder, stuff like that. Like, we can trust and hire these folks. I mean, you can trust us.
Yeah.
And once we, here's the thing. I think this is, I don't know. I don't want to like generalize folks that are justice impacted, but I know a lot of us, like, loyalty is a lot to us, right?
Yeah.
And trust, if you hire someone that's formerly justice impacted, we're gonna be loyal
Yeah.
to the cause no matter
Yeah.
what happens. Like, we're gonna be loyal.
Sometimes they're our own default.
Oh, absolutely. And to the fellas that are coming home,
Yeah.
just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
People will pick up on that and they will exploit it.
Yep.
Take advantage of it.
Yep.
So there is a line there too.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for this interview. Something we like to do is for the sign off, you say, "My name is, and I'm coming out of the ashes."
All right. So my name is Lon, and I am coming out the ashes.
Awesome. I'm glad that we continue to rise, because when we rise together.
I am a phoenix, out of ashes I rise. Wings may be torn, still I can fly above.